And now check our Twitter in a second.
I love this music.
It's kind of fun, right?
Question is, do I keep the auto tune on the whole time?
Oh my god, it'd be insufferable.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. All right, let's just check that the tweet went out and shit. Did that happen?
Yeah, it did.
This.
Sunil, can you play something in C minor?
Ken retweet the
You know, I've been playing over
Right.
this,
yeah.
and it just went so well, you probably thought it was the song.
It's pretty nice.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sweet.
I'm in the hotel in Las Vegas right now.
Ooh, on that beautiful note, did I just time this perfectly? Oh my god, I did.
Did.
Oh my fucking god. Well, it's a couple seconds off.
Could you
but
even
we-
hear it? Like, I wasn't even sure. It was surely not in time.
No, it definitely wasn't in time, but it's all good. But it's 1 o'clock and we're here. Everybody's on board. Look at that. But we have a very special intro. Right, Sir Kenneth?
Oh, yes, we do. I don't know. Welcome to the Undefined podcast. Chanel, get it.
Oh shit, wait, I unplugged.
Amazing.
I need to hear that guitar.
Wait.
Play some shit in C minor.
Wait. That reverb.
What happened?
Nothing. That's just reverb. Shimmery reverb. I like it.
It's fun.
You guys are fucking crazy.
Okay, what are we doing?
Welcome to the Undefined Podcast. I'm Jared Palmer.
And I'm Ken Wheeler.
And I'm Sunil Pai.
Sunil Pai.
What up, you guys?
What up?
Hey, what's
motherfucker?
up, buddy?
Mm-hmm. So this bottle of Hennessy, which I've never bought in my life, showed up in my house. We still don't know how it got here, but I've been working my way through it. It's I guess I like Henny. I didn't know that.
Henny's delicious.
Um,
Do you have anything, Jared?
I don't. I have some calls this afternoon that I have to be sober for. Bummer.
Well, I'm not a mature adult, so I got moonshine.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, welcome back, Sunil, our first repeat guest on the podcast, theoretically.
Super happy to be here. I didn't get fired from the last one, and it was nice. We had fun. So it got well. It may not be as good as the last one, but let's
It was our most popular episode.
really.
It's sort of because it had this like
I believe
it had this second life. We talked about building a better editor, and then somebody like built the thing we had talked about,
Right.
and then and like quoted the episode. It was like, I got this idea in this episode, and then that's how that happened. But welcome back, new job, no longer at Facebook. Now technically, I'll let you introduce yourself. So who are you?
Tell the
Sure.
folks at home.
My name is Sunil Pai. I live in London. So I've been in London now for 3 years. Literally, I think next week we hit 3 years. At this point, I expected to be back in India, but like my life has just changed. It's wild. All my friends are here now, and well, work is good. I just quit Facebook. Facebook was great. I had a great time there, and I joined the new job. Do I have? I don't really want to go into details of the new job.
That's
It's
fair.
Yeah, it's just a big company, and I'm a cog.
But did
I'm
you get
trying-
that paper in the new job?
That's right. That's
All
right.
right.
Hey.
Hey, Ken, the auto tune is amazing, but also I wish you like the
I'm
guests.
gonna leave it on the entire time.
It's
No,
just
listen,
like
you can't have an auto tune and then fake an auto tune with your mouth. That's what you're doing. Like you're doing an auto tune impression into the auto tune.
Okay, I'll turn it off.
wait, how funny would it be if you were just like I was actually just singing the entire time just to make it.
Yeah, there's no auto tune.
Anyways, that's awesome, Sunil. Congratulations with
So-
the new gig.
Thanks. Oh, but it's so weird. Okay, I swear I'll use the phrase only once. Okay, in these unprecedented times. Okay, I won't say it again. Not only have I not been able to return my laptop and phone from the last job, but
Oh my gosh, you still have your-
desk, yeah, my desk is still frozen like in a moment of time in March in there. Like all my stuff is still there.
Oh wow.
Wow. Well, you got to get your mic a little closer to your mouth.
There.
There-
Yeah.
there
So
you go.
I have stuff still there.
You have
It's
your
weird.
Zuckerberg stuff still in the house?
Yeah. Oh my God. It has a camera and a microphone. Doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. What up, Mark?
What's up, Mark?
Yeah, because
Uh,
he's personally monitoring this case. It's nice. It's a change. I'm not really in a tech firm anymore, which means it doesn't mean that there are worse developers. There are no worse developers. They're just different. They have like different priorities. They're not completely tuned into every second library that releases on Twitter. Like there are applications still built in Flex that are making millions of dollars for this company.
I believe it.
So
I haven't even tried Recoil yet.
I spent a day or two. Actually, I spent a lot of time with it this week. Because as
Pretty good.
Ken, the
You would.
it was it's an acute problem that I have with
I know.
the app. It like is basically what we had talked about building anyway. But I was like, oh, Facebook's been building the thing I needed to build for the past year. Sweet, awesome. I'm gonna try that out.
I mean, it's a good problem.
Mhm.
Right. And yeah, anyways, it seems like it's gonna do the trick. I'm gonna actually start. I played around with it. It seems better for, and maybe this is like super obvious to everyone else. It seems better for like programmatic, or I don't even know what you're gonna call it. Fully structured data. So like, again, if you're building an app with like an editor and you know that the total, all of the shapes are kept in a database somewhere, right?
Mhm.
I was thinking about like using it for Formic, but it's a little bit weirder because you don't like when the developer just writes, like they just drops in like a field or something like that in a component. That's not like a stored thing. And so you may need to I may need to keep some sort of registration system around like what has mounted, which we already have in Formic, but using that as like part of like putting that into state basically seems to be like one of the wrinkles that is required to use it. But aside from that, it seems very, very fucking useful for, I mean, I don't think it would go all the way as to fix your problem, Ken, which is about like render perf. This is just like preventing re-renders.
Yeah.
And isolation. But it's, I mean, it was a little confusing at first, but I'm excited. I don't know.
I read the docs. I just didn't play with it yet.
Yeah.
That
Looks
sounds like such
straightforward
a
enough.
Facebook specific solution to solve. Like clearly that's so I did this thing. Oh, can I don't know what my NDA covers after I've left the company. I guess we'll find out. So if you open up facebook.com,
Yeah.
so one of the runaway success features that very few people talk about is context, the new context API.
Right.
So I saw upwards of 400 context providers in the new facebook.com. If you just
Nuh-uh.
open the homepage. Yeah. Seriously.
400?
I think I saw 420.
That's too good of an API then.
But it's what does it mean? Like, does that mean that it's actually the right primitive, or that this is something the language should give you? I don't like it's but in circumstances like that, you want to like start counting renders.
It tells you that React needs at least one or multiple graphs and dimensions that are not just flat 2-dimensional trees, or I guess 3 dimensions because they're multiple files, but like it needs another dimension, right?
Yeah.
5-dimensional.
Yeah.
Underwater
and
backend.
number of yeah, and so the ability to come outside of f of g of x and come outside of that and poke holes and tell things to reevaluate seems like the thing that everyone needs, right?
The weird thing for me is we spend all this time talking about how we want to embrace functional programming. So we go towards like functional components, but context is basically this, right? Like it's the this.
That's
keyword.
interesting.
Like
That's
it just
interesting.
reads it from something up above, a scope that's been passed to it. So does that mean that context / this, I think Lisp calls it dynamic vars, I forget, that's like one of the original implementations. It feels like there's a language feature missing or something, because you end up putting data on these things and you don't it doesn't seem like it should be a component. I don't know, maybe
You mean like window.global and just like call it a day?
I don't know. No, it's clearly not that. Like subtrees are a thing.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like seeing them in the React component tree. I should just use the hide feature.
I mean, it's context is important. I think it's abused. I think people use it wrong, but it is definitely, I mean, it makes life easier.
I guess. I mean, yeah, clearly. It's a very successful feature that works, that is statically typed. Like my complaints aren't against the technology. It just feels wrong. Okay. Anyway, but on that note, there are a couple of things I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
Based on what people asked on the tweet, I thought I'd take a spin on them.
Yeah.
Cool. I think one of the questions was, what do I think about Next.js?
And the future of React.
And the future of
by Andrei Morozov. So thank you, Andrei.
Let it rip.
Okay, so Andrei, or anyone listening to this, this is clearly not an official word from the React team. I don't work there anymore, so this is just me thinking about it. Also, I'm not like trying to be a bitch about it, I guess. Okay, so the best thing that
disclaimer stated.
Yeah. So the Next.js like API is nice. The technology is good. It's very simple, right? It's not really a lot of code in the end. But one of the things that the Next.js team does is it cultivates social relationships with open source authors on Twitter. They are talking to the React team directly. I mean, a lot of people do. They talk to the Chrome team directly. They work with the Chrome team directly. And it turns out that these are like a lot of nice features to have in your technology choice. I mean, sure, in like 2 years, you'll like rewrite it to something else anyway. Like these things are a given. The front end is highly fungible. But I think the fact that that this team establishes relationships with everyone in the community is one of the reasons why like it's so good. You see?
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh yeah, I tend to agree as well.
It's not just about the actual like code, right? It's more than that, right? It's about the relationship. And honestly, when you think about if you're going to not use Next.js, and by the way, I have like personally written the competitive thing or one of the competitive things to it with like Razzle and After.js, right? Like and when Next.js started out, it didn't have these relationships, by the way. And when Next.js started out, it also didn't have like multiple engineers that work on the Chrome team full time working on in collaboration with the Next.js team, which they do, by the way. So, and also it was just like not as flexible as it is now. But you have to really have a compelling reason to not use Next.js. Either you're expecting a lot of changes, you're going to do your own experimentation, but those are arguments against it. But like even still, you might want to still use it because of all the things you just stated. It has this unique relationship with the React team, it has a unique relationship with Google, and it seems like it's got a lot of inevitability. I'll call it that.
I think we did some back of the napkin math, and so I think Chrome had a $10,000 scholarship stipend pay type thing to get some engineers on and implement some. They gave it to the Next.js team. My point is, some of their work in makes the product better by like 5%. 5% to 10%. Some of these even filter back to like the React team, and they're like, oh, this is a good idea, we should do it. And it struck me that, okay, so at this point, statistically, both React and TypeScript are over half of JavaScript development. Like something like 60% of JavaScript developers are writing React for work, which is a wild number. And let's say a percentage of them are using Next.js. So if you increase the speed of the Next.js code base by like 5%, that means like there's a significant portion of the internet that suddenly gets faster by 5%.
Tell me about it, dude.
This is beyond like shipping a new feature that will take 5 years to ameliorate. And like there'll be great features, but here you
don't say that about suspense.
We'll get to that in a second. But dude, no, it's true. And like, look, if Ken made his carousel, think how much time humanity would save if Ken made his carousel like 1 or 2% better. Like we're talking about millions of WordPress sites. Same thing with Formic, or Glamor, right? Like there's a large percentage of things. I don't know. Glamor has how many million downloads? Like, does it have 1 million downloads a day now?
Anything like that. Like, JS, yeah. It just
right. Like,
and you ship it as a non-breaking change so that the semver just picks it up and then
boom.
Yeah.
Move the internet.
I think that's why not just Next.js, but I think if you look at teams and you see them, instead of trying to tell everybody that they are the best solution, which by the way, Guillermo does. I mean, he's proud of the work that him and his team do.
Sure.
But if you try to enter the JavaScript library space now in a combative, I am better than you kind of phase, there's a great chance you'll fail because everyone already has their solutions. React is not really new technology anymore. But if you give them, oh, I will work with these teams, I will give you a transition plan to move your project to this, let's be friends, I will reply to just engage with the community. That is a technological advantage. That means that you'll get the smart people who want to work with you. That's kind of cool, man. I appreciate it.
No, I think you're right. It's not just about the tech at this point. I mean, it was maybe more so about the tech when there was I think when the GitHub's leaderboard or trending rankings went away, or they've changed it, and yeah, the Wild West days of like let's invent random stuff seem to be like a little bit. We're just more mature now, right?
I miss it, to be honest with you.
I do too.
But you know what? I'm giving too much credit to the Next team. I have to specifically call out Nicole Sullivan. Nicole Sullivan, I think, is the best thing that has happened to Google to the web, like in a very long time in this phase. I mean, she had a whole phase where she established what CSS should be written like with a small thing. But to come in and say, hey, as a browser team, we want to reach out and work with people in the ecosystem to make their stuff better. This should be the new normal. This is like the way that the industry should move forward.
Yeah, it's just like you kind of wish the Edge team did that. It'd be like a reason to use Edge, right? Like,
right?
Or whatever it's called now. I don't even know what. I don't even have it. But yes, exactly. It's a competitive advantage, and it comes back to this is not just about people. The biggest misconception is that all this tech stuff is about 400-pound people in their mom's basement, right? Like, and if you are, sorry to fat shame or whatever, but like, right? It's about interactions and people, and more than just like coding, right?
So yeah, Nicole and Shubi are leading the change for changing the way like browser teams should actually interact with the JavaScript ecosystem. I think it's cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a great
there's
tool.
some other things I want to call out. Well, some
right.
other exciting things. Do you all know what Components AI is? Which I don't think is a good name now that I'm saying it out loud. Do you know what
Components AI.
Look for components_AI on Twitter. So let me describe this to you. Okay, so the take is that in the future, UI design will be driven by a search interface, like literally a search box. Let's say components AI. Yes, that's the one. They have
This
a
is
great
it?
blog post. Yeah. Go click on the notes link. I think they have a note.
All right, notes.
No,
Generative logo design.
no, not this. They have a post.
Oh, maybe this is all of their shit. All the shit. Okay, I'll go to their
it's
Twitter.
just all
Okay,
this.
yeah.
Okay, but I'll explain it to you, right? Like they say, so in the future, the future is, imagine if you had access to literally every variation of every combination of CSS variable, let's say.
Whoops.
Okay, like
Can't
in a
type.
big database, indexed by whatever is every variation generated. So given that as a tool for you, how would you do UI design? Yeah, see, they have a post right at top, a pin
This
post.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you had this available to you, how would you do UI design and construction? When you have a resource like that, you are not writing anything by hand. You are literally just searching through this generation. So now generative modeling is not new. Everybody's done this.
Let's see if we can.
What Components AI does is it throws magic computery neural networky stuff on top of it,
Like
and
this
it
thing?
guides you. It guides you to look through all these kinds of variations. So,
Interesting.
So the project is it's young because this is so like future facing. It's fairly sci-fi, but there's a very clear vision of what it might look like. So I know, there are some interesting people working on it. You will see links popping up the whole time. So
yeah,
at this point,
it's pretty wild.
It's mad. It takes a little while to understand why the hell they're simply generating patterns, but then it strikes you, oh, this is just effectively research work for what they actually want to build.
Got it. So let's just play one of these simplex. So this is some sort of generative thing.
Mm-hmm.
So stroke width, and I move this, and oh shit, that's dope. Okay.
It's yeah.
Oh.
So there are a bunch of tools out
Looks
there.
like my liver.
Now. So there are a lot of tools out there right now that talk about no code, right? Are you just making weird looking shit?
Fuck. No, I'm just. It's called. This is what this one's doing. Random shit.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like my small intestine, or I don't know, like a stomach. It's cool. All right, yeah. So
wait, Sunil, is this kind of like the shit that we talked about?
This is exactly like the kind of shit we talked about.
Yeah, so it's like there's not like apps. There's just this search where you have widgets.
Yeah, okay. Quickly cycle to available outputs. Yeah, we were just there, but it didn't actually show it. Okay,
I fuck with that.
It's okay. So right now, one of the buzzwords is no code, and there are a bunch of no code tools on the market.
Yep.
And again, I admire the philosophy a lot, but I think like some of the things holding them back is that they need to ship today, which is why they have the tools out today. They're all very good, and they've found niches where people can use it, build. Well, for a lot of use cases, it gets a bunch of people to production.
I think that's right. I think that's important. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, there is nothing fundamentally new.
Right? No. Yahoo pipes. They're all iterations of Yahoo pipes.
Right. It's no new application of computer science or user interface research. It's what it does is it's giving us great tools to build CSS grids, which, by the way, that itself is a win, I think.
Oh, you're talking like no code web design tools.
Sure.
Like website design. No, okay. Not like like flow tools. I thought, sorry, like process tools, or those two, like where you have.
Not honestly that too.
Output.
Like I'm saying, they're trying to do this thing where you shouldn't write a React component by hand, and I appreciate that philosophy. But I think what they're getting wrong is that um, there's nothing new. It's just a good product. What components AI is doing is very much the Xerox thing. Okay, fine. You assume your constraints are not the constraints of now, they're the constraints of 5 years, 10 years in the future, where your laptop will come with TPUs, like it will ship with processors that are great for, I mean, Apple already does this. Apple shifts a separate processor in your phone just for its machine learning shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this will be very mainstream in like 5 years, 10 years. Like
Sure.
in that world, what does UI design and construction look like? It means like searching through millions of combinations, but very smartly using GPT-2 and
Why even search? Shouldn't it know?
You should just know. Well, you should just
You know
like it
what?
should basically give you like leaf nodes of like variations of like, oh, is it a button? Okay, well, you have like by the way the autocomplete works, it's like, well, there's gonna be a button, rounded button thing, but like it's like a variant sort of like generator where yes, up and down arrow keys, you're just like choose your own adventure.
And like it
right.
keeps tuning itself. Like
Yeah,
you work on that thing for 5 days and it realizes that you have an affection for the color purple, I guess.
it's crazy that like VS Code, even when we are coding it ourselves right now, doesn't know how I name shit at this point.
Why not? You've written it thousands of times into that.
Yeah, and it wouldn't even be like, maybe it is super hard, but I don't know. Like it knows how I name things. I feel like I could do at least like spell check on my on things, or like convention check. I don't know what you'd call it, but it seems like and there is like IntelliCode, but I feel like there's a lot more shit it could be doing.
I think so. You know what? I'm sure there's a team somewhere there that's working on this inside Microsoft.
But just not just in code, but you're also talking about in graphical tools too, and you're going to see these two things merge, right?
Oh yeah, of course. It's weird that it hasn't. It's annoying waiting for this. We keep thinking it's coming in 2 or 3 years, but so that's one end of that. Then yesterday, after a span of a few years, I rediscovered the widget industry. Do you know what the widget industry is?
You're talking about like WordPress plugins and shit.
Not even. So
or like Gmail plugins.
You're talking about like AG Grid.
I'm talking about AG Grid.
Oh yeah. These like you can buy a jQuery plugin.
Grid. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And the code, I had a look at the code base of AG Grid, and thankfully it's not like ugly code, but there's a lot of it. It's because that's what they sell, right? Like they sell features.
Right.
For that amount, there are integrations across every framework. And they're not very fast. Like they're not particularly performant. There's a whole bunch of like debugging code that goes to production, and it's all a little strange.
Ken knows all about it.
I'm sure he does. Charting widgets. So this I've discovered, of course, at the new job. Like I said, like it takes them a little while to get to a newer place, but I don't know what to make of this industry. Like in one way, wow, I respect the hustle. Good on you. Go out and make that dollar. But it feels like this should be free. Like the reason usage at my company has gone up so much is because it was included in the default toolkit. Everybody started using it, and suddenly they were like, oh shit, we need to buy licenses for everybody. And like it just spread. And that's not great.
No, I think I was at a conference once, and somebody came up to me and from, I think it was like Kendo UI, which is like a paid React component library, or it's like a component library that has React bindings. I don't know. Anyways, I was like, they're like, and they were like, you had so much success with Formic. How could we have more success with Kendo? And I was like, is it a paid product? And they're like, well, yes, you need a license. And I was like, well, no one's going to pay for that because they'll use Bootstrap or Blueprint.
Some people do.
Some people do.
That's why you're wrong.
But some people do. No, but it turns out he's like, well, actually, you're wrong. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, no, but companies will do that. And like, because that's like a paid kit. And I was like, but like Ant Design is like free and like has everything. And they're like, yeah, but we still make money. I was like, that's wild. Okay.
What's weird is, so for me, right, like with that sort of thing, like, I don't like that. And it's not about paying for it. I am happy to pay for something if it's good.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
What I don't like is that the shit is closed source.
Right. Ooh. And so, you get the mangled shit.
And you get support in quotes. So it's like if you have a problem or like some shit, it doesn't do something, right? You don't have the source to fix it.
Yep.
Right. It's not open source, so you can't PR it. if you contact their support, they have no fucking context as to what's going on in your product. So like, you're kind of just like fucked, really. Like it just seems like such a fucking technological liability to rely your thing on a paid thing that you don't know what's going on inside of it. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm not using AG Grid in what I'm about to build this afternoon. Like I'm gonna go use Blueprints Grid because I can at least fucking get into that if I need to, right? And fork
And
it.
it's funny too, because like every time you go and look, like you're like, oh well, how do you do this thing? And they're like, oh yeah, you just fucking like extend the prototype and shit. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's like the core API is like extend it. Is like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
and they have no reliance also. Again, then also if you think about like product development, like their product could be so much farther ahead if they had open sourced it because people would have just been filing bugs and shit.
Yeah, I mean, you would have people not just filing bugs, but also contributing. Like, like I don't like maintaining forks. So, like, I'm at some company and we have this need, right? So I'm going to come in and I'll just fucking do it. Like, I'll PR it just because I don't feel like maintaining a fork that does the same thing. Like, I'll build it in, I'll play the game and shit. And they're missing that,
Yeah,
like
they're missing that, right?
And then
What I want is like the takeaway here isn't that you should just build your own shit because the people who are listening to this podcast are probably already doing that. What I also want them to do is build a fucking grid and develop their sales and marketing skills. Like it seems like nobody like works on that in our industry anyway, but that's like super useful to have. It turns out there's a market. People will buy your JavaScript for you.
I used to say this thing where I said, I should have charged for Slick, and then I'd be, you know what? If I charged for it, it would be nowhere near as popular. Nobody would buy it, and they'd go use something else. But realistically, I've come to find out people would buy it. Not everybody that uses it would buy it.
Not everybody on Twitter.
A large enough amount of fucking people would buy it.
Oh yeah, dude. There's this guy.
I'd have fucking solid gold jet skis right now.
There's this guy, and he works on the WordPress core team. I forgot his name, but he built this plugin that I was using the other day for my sister's WordPress site called Restrict Content Pro. Wonderful plugin, very developer focused. And all this plugin does, not all this plugin does. This plugin is like a membership management plugin for WordPress that lets you have like a short code that can restrict content from based on membership management levels. It helps with recurring billing. It does all the things. And he's like a WordPress core team member, I think. And so like he knows exactly what the fuck is up with WordPress. Yeah, this dude has got the plugin of all plugins, right? Like all things are there. He's got like another one called like Easy Digital Downloads and like another one to set up like an affiliate link system. And this shit is super well documented, and it's like $500 lifetime plugin.
Does he fly to work in a helicopter?
Probably, dude. Like, and yeah, but the thing is, you get the source code, right? They give you the source code, but what you don't get are the updates, right? Unless you have a paid license, and that's a model that makes sense. And it's just weird the JavaScript community doesn't like have that.
I mean, we already know how to do support, and we do it with very angry customers who are, well, you're calling them customers, but they don't pay for it anyway. Like they're in your issues, haranguing you anyway. Now, imagine if each one of them had to pay $10 just to ask you a question. Like, shut the front door. Like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, I think the questions are free. It's the answers that cost money. Right? You can ask what you want, but pay for the answer. But no, I think it'll be. Look, I think it's interesting. Ryan Florence and Michael Jackson are starting Remix, and they've said that they're going to charge for it. I think they said they're going to set up like a private NPM registry, so you have to like hook into their registry or like some sort of token thing. I'm curious how they're going to do that, but the source is available. You just go to their website, you read the source map and see the whole fucking shebang bang. So
yeah. No, what they're selling is like years of experience and educating thousands of people across companies, well, mostly in the US, and a reputation of delivering great software. Like that's what and yeah, of course, wouldn't you want Ryan and Michael to like write the router for your company? Yeah, I mean, and you'd
sure.
And the amounts, I mean, you look at the AG Grid pricing and you get a shock because you never paid that much for JavaScript. But this shit is like a rounding error on some budget in the corner of the company that nobody gives a shit about. It's fine. They'll sign it. They'll send you an invoice.
I think it's hard to, unless your shit is so dank, and maybe it is, it's hard to grow and start with I think a paid only JavaScript widget unless you can show or have some way to demonstrate what it is and how it does it before people buy it. Which is not always easy, but possible, right? Look at the guys who did the Tailwind UI. They took pictures of the components for you to view before you purchase the whole CSS kit. Or like, sorry, the snippets. Sorry,
this is Tailwind UI, right?
Yeah. So Tailwind UI are snippets for Tailwind CSS. That's all it is. It's just snippets,
but it's Adam Watson giving you support,
basically. And also, they made like $2 million off it already.
Ooh.
As in like the first, and there's like $245. You get the whole thing, you got all the snippets, and they're great snippets, and you really can be productive very quickly with that because it's Tailwind, and you copy pasta basically. But what they do is the way they protect themselves is they give you a couple things for free, and then they give you they show pictures of the things that are not like free to preview, so you can't inspect source.
Sure.
And because of course you could just if they just built everything, you could just inspect and steal it, copy pasta, right? So that's the way they can protect that. But that's basically like the same way that the WordPress theming system has happened, right? Like you can preview it and right, like or you know, a lot of it works like that, right? Like Bootstrap themes, right? But yeah, it's curious. We'd be a lot richer if we had this figured out.
God damn it! Like, what the fuck?
But I don't know if you saw a license, inside your new jobs, both of you, if you saw a licensed thing, like let's say, I don't know, Glamor changes its license to be a paid thing. Would you just pin your shit at like whatever the free version was and just use that? Or would you actually like upgrade and like go through the bullshit of upgrading? If you would, assuming you would already implement it in all over your app and then it was like changed to a paid thing.
No, not that would be a bait and switch. I don't think anyone would agree for that. What they would agree is for something you build on top of it. Glamor UI, maybe.
You could just put Pro on the end.
Yeah, or X.
Pro.
Any new feature, Slick
Yeah.
Pro.
Maybe.
Hint, wink, wink on Formic.
Formic Pro.
Formic Pro.
Can I be real honest with you guys for a second?
I would assume no less.
Okay. Fuck this bastard virus. I fucking hate it.
I hate it too.
Shit
Oh, it's so
is
bad.
the worst fucking thing ever. And I'm trying to be so chipper about it and positive, but fuck this bastard. I hate it.
I'm so unbelievably tired of this shit. And then like,
But by the way, just because you're tired doesn't mean it goes away either, which is the worst part.
That's the worst fucking
It's like
part.
just because I saw a tweet like just because you're bored doesn't mean that the virus goes away.
I'm just so pissed, and I don't know who to be pissed at. It sucks. I can't fucking blog about it. Who do I share my feelings with? Like the entire world is facing this problem right now.
if you're gonna be pissed at anybody, be pissed at the people who wait for things like this to happen and then use that as an opportunity to snitch and fucking yell at other people, like turbo Karens out there, like, you're not social distancing. That's who you should get mad at.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I hate those. I think they enjoy being.
It's like the fucking Super Bowl for those people right now. You're like, some guy's lifting weights on his fucking front lawn.
Well, that's okay, but it's being outside is better, but still like
the conspiracy theorists are weird. What? I mean, I think it's like people trying to do pattern matching.
Yeah, because humans are always trying to construct a narrative, right? People are just trying to causality. Like they're always looking for why. Why?
Yeah, but then they commit to it. Like they commit to it, and after that point, they're kind of a lost cause. Like no matter what you tell them, they're not going to change their minds about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're all in an industry where I'm not worried about anybody on this podcast being able to like find food or provide for their families. But holy shit, are there people who are extraordinarily suffering?
Yeah.
Going on month 3 or whatever this shit is. Like I have friends who work in restaurants, and my friend who started a nightclub. Like he's fucked.
Is the nightclub done?
Well, it's shuttered. I don't like Phil is like really struggling. Like a Like that was his income stream. Like the fucking
Jeez.
and the government won't allow it to open. So like he can't work. I have
Fuck.
another girl I know, like her had a family restaurant and like it's shut down. She can't work.
There's no money. Like you can't. And you have to. What is your backup plan? Go and work in an Amazon warehouse? Like fuck that.
Fuck that.
Yeah, not pay rent, and then it just gets the banks just get kind of um the banks just have to eat it, and
I
the
was
lenders are
telling
getting the foreclosure things. It's just not a good
I,
cycle.
I was telling Ken. So my mom's been stuck in New Jersey for months because
Fuck.
there are no flights, and she's running out of meds like next month. So India has started this biggest repatriation evacuation exercise in the world, where they're literally now starting to fly in thousands of Indians across the world back to India. And it's a logistical nightmare. Like it's all over the. It costs so much money, again, thankfully, like our family can afford it. But surely there are going to be thousands of people who are like, you want how much? You want $2,500? So I get back to India, like
Jeez.
just fucking deport me, man. Like do anything. I don't want to be here.
Right.
It's this stupid bastard virus has ruined everything. I didn't know I even liked pubs this much until it started.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my dad about this. The I mostly, at least the last like almost year now, been working, not year, a couple 9 months, been working basically remotely from my apartment. But I would go out all the time with my friends on the weekends, right? But I'd be able to stay Monday through Friday and not really see that many people. But you go to a thing once or twice, maybe once a week, right? But literally, I realized that allowed me to do the rest of it because and not see people for long periods of time because holy shit, I was like the adjustment was just wild. I think also everybody's habits have been completely shattered.
Yeah.
And so new habits are filling those voids and like it's not good.
Are you getting the weird dreams? That's the thing that's happening to a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah, I got it. Happened to me a little while too, which is weird because I don't usually dream as much. I think it's like again the brain just trying to compensate for the lack of information, and it's like, oh shit, okay, like
I'm
just
fucking 35 years old with kids. My life is largely the same outside of fucking unavailability of, food and products.
Yeah. I was with Joel last night, doing a podcast or interview session with him on state management for like 2 hours. And Joel Hooks from Egghead. And he's like, yeah, dude, there's not much change. Like team is still the team. We're all good. We're kind of we kind of like this sort of vindicated my entire life, like all my life choices. But like, yeah, I mean, makes sense. But for those of us who like are used to being in cities, like I'm living in fucking Connecticut, dude.
I thought you were in Vermont.
Nah, I moved. I told you this.
No, you didn't.
I didn't tell you I moved down to Connecticut. Oh, I
No.
moved down to Connecticut. Yeah, because I, broke up with a girlfriend, then moved out of my apartment, moved out of the apartment in New York, and then moved up here to Connecticut. Like a week. It was terrible.
You moved out of the Vermont place too.
And yeah, and that rental went up in Vermont too. It was literally fucking crazy, dude. I like wasted an entire week just humping shit around, humping fucking shit.
I really
moving
like that
shit.
Vermont place.
Yeah, it was nice.
Nice background. Now you're just with a wall at a window.
Well, like I would show you this, and maybe, but like I can see there's like a lake and a boat.
That's
like,
nice.
out the window, so that's kind of nice. I'm just
I
in like
follow
my
you on Insta. I've seen that
on
shit.
my aunt's. My old my aunt's room. And I need to paint, and like it's like yellow walls, like, but it's there's some work needs to be done here. But I may move to
have
the
like
garage.
full glass door, like full glass walls with like trees and shit, like a foot from the glass.
Oh, my apartment in New York?
Yeah.
This is
No,
like
no,
fucking...
no, the one in Vermont.
Oh, yeah. I know, but nothing even compares to the fucking view from
Oh, that was out of control.
The York shit. But again, this is just very disruptive, right? To everything. It's fucked.
Were you afraid to be in New York City during this?
This was like, I actually unfortunately called a lot of this and had suggested to my entire family that we should get the fuck out of Manhattan as fast as possible around
When you had to go back to
March
Manhattan
10th.
like last week or whatever.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I like did not stop anywhere in Manhattan. We got the U-Haul truck out of Manhattan and drove it into Manhattan, then just went right to the apartment. Didn't talk to anybody, didn't hire movers, got the shit out of there, didn't talk to anybody, drove right the fuck out. We brought food and water, so you didn't have to like stop anywhere, talk to anybody. But like,
I don't like going to New York normally, and like now, like going to New York, like I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. 'Cause, like, you know, I'm not going to do that.
it,
I don't like going to New York normally, and like now, like going to New York, like I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
yeah, it was like not as it's not ideal. But we'll see.
So have you been? It's something I've been thinking about, but it's something everyone must have noticed. Have you noticed how like the idea of celebrity is like now changing? Like
Yeah. Well,
like
everybody's
actors and famous actors and musicians are like kind of fucked. Like I think they know it, which is why they try very hard to give uplifting messages in their social media feeds. But they're not actually very good if they're not highly produced by a team behind the scenes.
Wait, so what you're saying is that internet celebrities are
Yeah,
taking
I
over
mean-
real celebrities?
No, you call them internet celebrities, but like
They're
your
celebrities
digital
now.
personality is your personality now. There's no in real life shit, not for the next few months. So
or years.
or years. Who knows?
What's an example of one that's like good though? Because I mean, I like watch like my kids like YouTube videos and TikToks and shit, and they're all B grade as fuck.
Awful. Everything production quality wise is so low.
It's not just production quality; it's just like the quality of these people's fucking shit. Like, it's not the production. You know, like it just dumb.
Dude, to that point, dude, I actually looked at and did a really, really big deep dive on YouTube studios and what that would look like, because I have an empty garage now, or will have an empty garage now, and I'm like, okay, if I want to start doing sick YouTube shit, like what's the setup that I need? What are the cameras? What are the lights? What the whole thing are? And it was hilarious. It was like, these YouTube setups were fucking awful, and these were like the most popular videos. And it comes down to it comes
This is
down
what
to
I'm
like,
using. I'm using a
no,
fucking
it comes down
tripod.
to that, like content quality only, that's cool and that's fine, but it's quality, not necessarily production value. You shouldn't confuse the two, right? If you had like, the Richard Feynman lectures are like crinkly and dark and fucked up and stuff, but they're fucking awesome to watch, right? Because it's fucking Richard Feynman. You don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't give a fuck if the shit is potato quality camera or whatever the fuck. The actual content itself, is just corny for me.
And that's where I think the celebrities actually don't produce any of their own content, and so now they are doing that, and it's like not as good as like the random. There's just like so much more competition, right?
Yeah.
Without and there's no gatekeeping of like People Magazine and shit, or like some award show, or like
no, exactly.
or linear television, right? That shit's over too. So or at least not what it used to be.
There is one thing that I deeply, deeply appreciate.
What?
And that is SoundCloud rapper music videos. They're so good. Like the production quality is like decent, right? It's like doable. But it's just so different from what you would see normally, like get approved by a studio.
Right. They're probably pretty raw.
Yeah. Well, that's just like, like drugs and being assholes and shit. And you're like, this is amazing. Like
we saw somebody shooting it in London. There were 2 rovers. So the one in front had the back open and a camera, and in the rover behind, someone's hanging out of the window and being very fucking cool. I died laughing, but then I was like, fuck, this is the hustle. Like in the middle of a pandemic, shooting a rap video
that's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Sunil, what do you think?
Cool as hell.
Sunil, what is your take on TikTok?
Okay, I have a number of takes on fucking TikTok. Okay?
Yeah.
So the first is, these are children who learn how to edit videos out the back. Okay. And in a very demanding crucible, because kids can be mean as fuck if you make bad content.
Yeah.
So these folks are learning these skills. That's one. Second, this is the one that so every month, every few weeks, I download TikTok, I install it, and I dive into it for 3 days, and then I have to go out, because there are so many youngsters who are like hypersexualized.
Oh, dude, it's so fucking it's like every fucking like my TikTok with the AI is the AI. It's like woodworking, fighter jets, Call of Duty, programming shit, skateboarding, snowboarding, and 15-year-old girls, because you cannot get away from the 15-year-old girls, because that's what is on TikTok. It's like, I don't want to see a 15-year-old girl shake her ass.
Completely uninterested.
It's like, what are you doing? But like, it's literally like every 15th thing is like an underage girl. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, do I like this? Like my my reptile brain's like, I like this, but it's like fucked up. It's like supremely fucked.
Okay, thank you for admitting it.
I
wasn't gonna say anything.
Dude, it's like a 16-year-old girl. It's like fucked up. Like, what the fuck?
Dude,
Like,
and they're very much in makeup, and like this isn't about makeup, but like I can't tell that they're 16
What-
until like I think about
you know,
it. For 3
that's what I'm
seconds.
saying. That's what I'm saying. You can't tell that they're 16, but then you like go to the profile and you're like, oh my God, this person's underage. This is pretty fucked up. This is questionable. And that's the most popular shit on the platform.
That shit can't be healthy.
And dude, it's like pure dopamine, right? I mean,
It's all like fast cut, like fucking like this,
oh
like,
my
distorted
God.
Amazing
dubstep.
at it.
It's like
They're so
boom,
good
wah,
at
wah,
it.
wah, wah.
Okay, from a UX perspective, the insight is amazing though. The insight is that you don't need to like shit. What you need to do, and you don't need to scroll or touch the screen. If you just lock the screen into scroll snapping, we can tell when you're watching. And you have to continually, like, you remember when Instagram for that one day like switched to like side scroll? People went batshit. I don't know if you ever got that update, but they did. They tried like side scroll Instagram.
that's
It was
right.
like fucking terrible but apparently like people mindlessly scroll on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, you probably can tell more about that, but they like literally will scroll for, they're not even reading or they're not actually like cognitively doing shit. But in TikTok, you're 100% engaged every time.
As soon as you hit the snap point, it just like
boom. But also if you watch it 6 times, that's basically like a like. Right, they have like multiple levels of engagement. They know, and so if you watch something, it's as good as you following that. Like you can build a simple point system where it's like, oh, if I watch this account, well, I can find accounts like this account that I watched, a watch, and they can confirm a watch. Right, you don't need to interact further than that. Is like confirmed. So it's just like probably a better model, but holy fuck, dude, is that shit addictive?
Which is that's just it. Like I hit the 3-day limit, and I'm like, okay, I'm done for a while. I have to do it because you have to keep up with the fucking memes. Otherwise, like you lose touch. You know what? Like there's context there clearly that everyone knows. Like it used to be Twitter or Insta or whatever. But so I find out what the popular songs are. And I'm like, oh, okay, I understand this now.
So
I understand the vocabulary.
I have a question for you guys. Have you ever gone to go make a TikTok and then fucking hated yourself for what you've done?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. If I was a little bit more unfiltered and like just gave less fucks, which maybe I should, I would just make the most ridiculous shit. And
like, I turn the camera on and I see myself looking back, and I'm just like,
don't do this.
I'm too old for this shit. We're not doing this.
Oh, no.
But at the same time, though, it's such a brilliant twist on Vine. Like to have the content, so like you have a script, right? I think about it as like,
you know,
the music.
Vine didn't feel like that though.
No, because you had to invent everything in Vine. But with TikTok, you can remix and you have a script. And what I mean by script is the script is the music, or it's the meme, or
even
it's
the
audio track,
dance,
right?
Or whatever, yeah.
Right, or the dance, right? Or it's the dance. So there's like multiple dimensions of basically the script, but or the storyline, I'll call it, right? The plot of every TikTok can be predetermined or brand new. And there are multiple ways for you to do that and innovate, but you have a plot. So people who would normally not have the creative talent to come up with brand new shit on their own can remix and do that. And with constraint, there's freedom, right? So that's where I think it absolutely slaps, right? And some of the like remix shit is so much funnier than the original. Sometimes
there's just a degree of confidence and lack of fear of consequence that can come together,
right, when there's a plot that's pre-existing
and you can just own. Like I remember back when I was a much handsomer man that had less career things going on for me, I used to do a ton of shit on Instagram and not give a fuck. It was like fun, you know. But like now,
too much pressure.
Yeah, now, you know, it's a fucking ogre looking back in the camera. And not just that, like, you know, if I did something funny, you know, like, what are you just gonna fuck somebody send this to my work when I get fucking canceled again? Like,
I think Facebook got a little, or maybe Instagram just got weird with like maybe TikTok's like this too, but there aren't as many people on TikTok, or I don't follow my friends on TikTok yet. Like, I don't give a fuck. But like, I think it got weird. Like the social pressure of Instagram and Facebook got out of hand, right? To make it perfect and all the things, and people's like then. And that was maybe modeled by the like celebrity system of it all instead of the like hilarity system, because you can't really fake. You can't like fake a video like that, right? A video is raw, or is more raw. You can fake shit, obviously.
You can fake a video,
but you can fake a video, but it's more raw, right? You can really fuck with an image, though.
Yes, you can.
You can really fuck with an image, right? You can pose. You can take 70,000 images, right? You can't live finite number of takes, right? You can do in a video. Right?
You know what my favorite thing in the entire world was?
Yeah, what?
When they'd have like those influencers, right? And they'd be like, they'd be taking this like selfie, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, just having this awesome time," and like fucking Bora Bora or whatever, and then like they get caught because like they're like geotagged in Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Right, they're, like, ridiculous.
Like, I just love when they get caught.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like that kind of shit.
I think Lil Bow Wow, he took a picture of
Yeah,
a
it was Lil
jet.
Bow Wow.
Yeah, he took a picture of a jet, except he took the picture while sitting in economy from that window, and somebody else was taking a picture of him taking that picture. Which is
Yeah,
busted.
it's so funny. But that's harder to do with TikTok, right? Like that shit is video. It's harder to fake. So
Yeah.
there aren't fake, like there aren't as many, like, I don't know, it feels like the pressure's different, but it's crack. It's digital crack.
Oh, very much so.
Okay, another question for you. Do you think you could build TikTok on the web?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think would you be able to do it, Ken, from on mobile web? Like, not talking like desktop, talking fucking in Safari on an iPhone. Could you get there? And I want to hear you analyze this.
No.
What aspects of it could you not build?
I can just say that I guarantee you some of the foundational shit is going to be a shit show in mobile Safari.
Right. Like what?
Aside from that, right? Like
You
as
have
far
to
as
transition 5 videos. Imagine you have to do 5 swipes really quickly. That'll bring Safari to its knees.
yeah, and not just, I mean, just handling video on the web, number one. I mean, you know, even if we were just talking about the viewing experience, it's
yeah, I mean, editing is not going to happen, right?
getting into the authoring, you know, I mean,
but even if you remove some of the interaction, yeah, could it be done? And I'm not saying like complete knockoff. I'm talking about like, could a spiritually congruent app be built, right? The way that like Instagram, maybe a little bit better than Instagram web from like a spiritual user experience.
All right,
like
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Does it need to be accessible?
No. So you could build it on Canvas. You use that like Flipboard thing, right? Or like something like it, right? Something like React Canvas, maybe an updated version of it. And then could you do it?
You know, previously I might have said no, but you know, after working on the sort of things that I have been for the last 2 years, I think I probably could with the right.
The thing you wouldn't be able to do, though, that I after thinking about this, I thought about this the other day, was a lot of the fun of TikTok is in all the filters and pre-processing, and a lot of that shit happens on the device, as far as I can tell. Like the ML with like ML kit and like the facial stuff. And I think there's like some TensorFlow JS like face masking and all the like filters and stuff.
Creation stuff. We're not.
But that's part of the creation.
No, but you know what? That's
like,
nothing that you can't do in like Wasm.
Maybe that's how you would do it. But yeah, no, it seems like from the scroll snapping thing, seems like it could be possible. Definitely not accessible though.
Scroll snap, like if you wanted to just make the viewer, sure. If you wanted to make the authoring experience, that's a different story, right? Because like, you know, you look at the TikTok app, like what does it download? Like 165 megabytes?
There's a lot of shit.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, you have all that there, right? You have access to all like the app capabilities of the platform. Like the web doesn't have that shit.
No.
Right. So I mean, even if you were to do it, even if there was a way to do it, I could tell you that I could probably do it in Chrome desktop, Chrome latest, mobile Safari. Jesus fucking Christ! I could barely get regular web shit to work in mobile Safari. Like,
what about you, Sunil? You could do it?
So I'm pretty sure sometime in the last 2 weeks on React.js, on the React.js subreddit, I saw someone who built a version of it, but for porno from other subreddits.
That's mad funny.
Nice.
So it's a TikTok experience for Reddit porn.
That's funny.
Jared, your idea got jacked.
It's not jacked yet.
So for academic purposes, I clearly investigated it to see whether it was any good.
And was it? No.
It's okay. I mean,
it was okay.
It's okay.
It's no TikTok, but it was.
It's no TikTok. It's yeah. But all right. I was just wondering.
What man. Mobile browsers. Everyone's afraid to say it, but it's not going great.
I'm gonna probably give up on web support for mobile web for certain features of Format Cloud now because I'm good. It's not possible.
Sunil.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When do you think React's going to die, and has its death begun?
Okay, so there are many types of deaths. Okay, there's the
It's
not
dethroning.
okay. I know that there's a list of projects that React wants to do. Okay, and they're all headline projects. This is nothing secret. This is what the team talks about in public all the time. They want to crack animation at some point. They want to crack server-side rendering, which is what they're working on this year. They have to ship concurrent mode at some point.
Mm-hmm.
The team is staying very small. It's not like they're going to become much bigger, which means that this this journey for them is going to take years to do all the things that they want to, and it's all very cool. It'll all be reacty, it'll be best in class. So then anything that kills React has to be fundamentally different. It cannot look like anything out there right now. That's what I'm saying. There's a great fucking tweet I saw the other day. David Nolan tweeted it, where he was comparing React for the JVM, and I'll tell you why I like the tweet. So he was like, "Oh, it's like the JVM, and it's great for the middle band of use cases, which are neither completely trivial nor very complex." So what we like talking about in Twitter and in social media and whatever are the very trivial and the very complex use cases. But we don't really prove anything except to say that any methodology will work under ideal conditions. You see what I'm saying? Like, you want the fastest website on the planet, just hit all these ticks and it'll be fast. But it doesn't really matter because 6 months later, it has 2 new product managers and they've added Google Tag Manager and it's become shitty anyway. So that's the trivial side. The very complex side will be the work, it'll be the latent tears of some very talented people who build a 3D AR VR rendering engine. But it won't really change the industry because it's not really made it easier for millions of people to build those complex things. So we like arguing about this, but this is actually where it's useful. And it's why there are millions of React developers. It's not because because fundamentally you can find React fails every benchmark when compared to something that was specialized for that benchmark.
Correct.
Like just,
but it's a good, it's like if you're going into battle and like you choose like one weapon, like it's not bad, right?
That's what.
Like,
so
it's so useful, and like you can become a samurai. And is there some specialist person that's been training their entire life with a bow, or like a special sword thing that when you encounter, they're going to kill you? Yeah, but they're only going to use one exact motion, right? Exactly. Like, and that's it. And you could fight tons of things. You could fight tons of battles with React. It may not, but it may lose every time if they just use this one move. But
and no,
you safe.
You solve these React problems with like other things, like you work around it. You're like, oh, you know what? Fuck you. We are not use an escape hatch and hack on the DOM element directly for this one component that is product critical for this charting.
The one thing,
right? Just the one. You can fucking work around. So for React to die in any dimension, you need to find something that is equally good. Because mind you, the reason Angular was that answer. Angular was really great for the middle section. You couldn't build particularly great apps with it, but also it was never even designed for trivial apps. But it was great for teams that were really wanted to build a quick dashboard together and chuck a bunch of data into a chart. And like that's what React actually like beat. So you want to beat React, it has to be fundamentally different. You can't pick one benchmark and say, oh, why is everybody not using React today? Like if this was true, like if you found something that it was better at, why does everybody not use React today? Again, it's because of the team, it's because of the documentation, it's because of their vision for where they're going forward. It's the ecosystem that is guaranteed to work with React.
Bet onable.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like
once you're $1 million company and microseconds matter in your homepage loading performance, switch out the homepage to something else. Fine. Just don't use React for that.
You're going to have a great amount of time to fucking think about that too. When you're, when
you have money.
Which is to say, when you have that monopoly, you're on your $500,000, you'd be like, yeah, maybe I should start thinking about the homepage again. Right. But until then, it's fine.
Right? It's what if they bring back Flash, but it's not Flash?
It's called Wheeler.
Okay, so when you're saying bring back Flash, do you mean the Flash product where I could have timelines and all that cool shit?
Yes.
Or like Macromedia Flash Player, so I can play video games on the web.
And it's like WASM and WebGL and everything's smooth, and you have these abilities and shit. It just, it doesn't make your computer hot.
Holmes, I don't even care about the WASM WebGL shit. That's what I'm saying. But if you can get me back that authoring experience, like overnight, you will see people rush over to this shit, like immediately.
It's, yeah. I think the thing that will beat React will either have to be fully compatible with it, in which case it's like fully interoperable with it, right? But it will have to, I can guarantee you well, I will say something. My guess is that it will need to be incrementally adoptable from a React code base, which means there are certain properties of it that will have to look something like
I don't
React,
think so.
but I don't know, maybe not. But you need to be able to
love to fucking rebuild shit.
Sure, I just think that the ability to bridge data and share state between this thing and that and React will have to be pretty good, in my opinion.
Well, React is pretty good at that already. Like React will let you use something.
If it's that fundamentally different,
maybe I'm wrong.
People rebuild their shit.
Of what yeah.
Like we sit here and we're like, you come up with these like elaborate architectures for things, and then they rebuild the fucking thing every.
Dude, I'm rebuilding Formic again for the fucking third time.
Yeah, I think people vastly overestimate the shelf life of code.
Well, and also the radioactivity of it, right? As soon as you write it, it just rots and has a half-life, and it just starts to die.
Absolutely disgusting.
Right. I was talking to Guillermo about this. Like, I think like some very popular AWS product is like built with Ruby. Like very fucking popular product. And it's just like no. Like if an Amazon product, like like rock solid boot, like skeleton of the internet type level shit is like built with like a Ruby thing. And it's like, who gives a fuck at that point? Like at that point, when you hear like which one it is, it's just like bananas. That like this $1 billion thing is built with Ruby, and you're like, what? I thought but like, and at the end of the day, like all the shit just rots.
Did I tell you I've started live streaming shit from my couch?
No.
Really? Where? You haven't seen my fucking videos? Fuck
no,
you.
Where the fuck did you do your videos?
I will share links. I'm actually quite proud. I've done a couple
of
them.
YouTube already. Or Twitch or what?
Periscope. Just Periscope.
Oh, Periscope. That's probably why I didn't see it.
I'm quite happy with my last one because I actually did a demo. I literally pointed my phone at my laptop. You all know what the cumulative layout shift API is?
No.
What the fuck is that?
Okay, so this is a new metric that Google has come up with, and it's actually pretty good. It measures how many times your layout shifts when it loads. Like, let's say an ad pops in or an image changes layout.
The dance.
Exactly, the dance. The fucking
call it jankometer.
The jankometer. So there's a new API that can measure this, and it's already been integrated into the new Lighthouse that launched like today, the new Lighthouse version. But there's a fucking punchline to this. Okay, so if you go watch my video, if you'd seen my video, you'd know. I do a demo to show how bad it is. So I literally record the first 5 seconds of Twitter, and I go through it frame by frame. So in 5 seconds, the screen shifts 15 times.
Oof.
Okay, and this is every website.
Mm-hmm.
Take your pick. The ones that don't do so badly are like, not even news sites because they have ads and all, but 15 to 20 is like on average. When I was working on this problem, I saw that many, like I just went through every website and I saw. But the punchline is that there are no solutions for it right now. No framework fixes it for you. And you have to be like very careful. There is one unreleased framework that fixes it out of the box. And unfortunately, it's concurrent mode by React.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness.
So watch my video. I'm also trying to produce content for this new age and these unprecedented times. Oh, I said it a second time. I shouldn't have. But I've actually started making videos where I talk about, the shit that like matters to me and not about CSS and JS, even though I still think CSS.
You should do it on YouTube, man.
You think there's a bigger audience there? Should I?
I do.
The subs are, yeah. Well, we're doing it on both right now. We're streaming to both Periscope and YouTube simultaneously right now.
Oh, shit. Okay, YouTube
Boost them
maybe.
both.
So I've been exploring this. You all should watch it. That is my
I'm excited.
not my pitch.
Pick.
That's my pick. Fucking
pick.
watch my
Yeah,
content.
Ken, what's your pick?
My pick.
Yeah, your YouTube channel, which just started.
No. Yeah, I mean
No?
that's definitely a pick, but wow, if I had to do a pick, what's picky with me? Oh. Margaritas.
Margs for days. Taco Tuesday today.
Fucking slayed Margs this weekend, like all weekend long, and I
Spicy
got,
Margs are great.
I got nothing but good shit to say about them. Yeah, a couple drops of hot sauce, you're good to go. What about you? What's your pick?
My pick. My pick of all things is this Jira concept or this tech that Jira built called LexoRank, right? Last year, which just sounds bananas, but I was just researching this, how they store the rank order of all their tickets and shit, is actually like a pretty interesting problem. And because if you can't just in a database, you can't just like store the order of something as a number, right? You have to like link because otherwise, if you make a change or you reorder something, then you have to change all the numbers in the rest of the table. So Jira has this like insanely complex, basically bucketing system where they use strings and to like lexicographically rank things, and they can always make more room between the strings. And sometimes they end up recomputing them, but like basically, if you like LexoRank, it's an interesting way to keep like an ordered list without having actual links, like without actually building a linked list of something to keep like actual order by just leveraging sort and like special strings. It's pretty interesting.
I understood some of those words.
It's a way to, if you want to sort something from a custom order because a user made some changes to it, like which is most important, instead of you having to keep like a linked list in your database of like previous and next, this lets you use like the regular ass database sort that you normally have by using fancy strings. Kind of cool. So LexoRank, that's what I pick for the week. Fucking crazy. Ken's like, okay, this is actually pretty useful. Fuck.
Yeah. That shit.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So I've been playing with that. And yeah, that's my pick for the week.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for coming back on.
I miss my friends. I miss talking to them, and this is just really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got what you wanted for your podcast, but I just thoroughly enjoyed seeing your face.
All I want to do is to talk to you.
That's what we all wanted. That's what we all wanted. Well, thanks again, Sunil. And if you don't know who he is, at 3.1 on Twitter. And we'll
watch his fucking Periscope videos.
Watch my fucking Periscope videos.
I'm gonna go watch your fucking Periscope videos.
Exactly.
I'm hurt that you haven't.
I didn't even see it. That's how fucking discoverable Periscope is.
Fair.
Put it on fucking YouTube.
Fair.
Exactly. Well, anyways, folks, thanks again for joining us. This has been an episode of the Undefined Podcast. I'm Jared Palmer.
And I'm Ken Wheeler. Fuck you guys, but not that hard. It's coronavirus time, so hang in there, all right?
Put on the auto-tune, Ken. Give us a real
It's gonna be cool. I already it's off.
Okay, whatever. Fuck it. All right. Peace, y'all.
Later, alligators.
Bye.